Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video of my Townie refresh. So today I am doing a refresh build for the BFF household. And what I did with this one was I just kind of went through, looked at their traits, looked at what they were doing with their lives, and designed a home around that. So that is how this series is going to work. And I really had fun doing this, and I am very much looking forward to the other builds I'm going to do. I've already started on the next one, and that will be... Oh crap. I just completely blanked on the name of the household. So you'll see what it is next week. But yeah, so I've started that one already. But anyway, so what I decided to do with this household, since they are supposed to be friends and they are, acquaintances in reality, I designed this house in a way that you could move one in and then have roommates. You could use the for rent pack and have them rent it or rent out different rooms. That's options. There's a couple of options to play this household depending on what packs you own. Now, that being said, this is base game only, and what I'm going to do with this series is I'm going to stick with whatever world they're in plus base game. So for the first few, it is going to be base game only builds. I can't remember how many townies there are in the base game, but however many there are, that's what they're going to be. So then as we progress, I will do, university. I'm going to look and see how the packs came out. I think I'm going to follow that and do the refreshes based on when the pack came out. And we'll see. If this series goes well, I'll keep going. If, you guys don't seem too interested in it, I will probably just do base game and maybe university because I want to do that. But we'll see. If it goes well, this might end up a very, very long build series. And I'm kind of excited about that because I, kind of am like running out of some ideas, I guess. I mean, I still have some, but to stick with a twice a week schedule, I am kind of running out of ideas. However, I do want to state I am considering going to once a week for the summer, mostly because I may end up with overtime at work and I have other things going on this summer already. I am moving next month too, so I'm hoping to get a bunch of videos done up for that time period. But if you notice I'm only posting once a week, that would be why. I'm in the moving process and couldn't get them done. However, I'll post something on the community page too, letting you guys know that's what's going on. Right. So the other thing with this house is I really did picture this as they are young adults renting this house. They don't own this house, okay? That's how I designed it. You do what you want. Maybe one of them inherited it or something, okay? Because they're all just kind of starting out in their careers. So none of them have a whole bunch of money. Maybe mom and dad bought it as a investment property. I mean, however you want to play it. But it is like an older home. I did not design it like updated. I wanted it to look like it was something that was built a while ago. And, going from there. However, it is designed around each person's personality, career goals, things like that. The kitchen is not, okay? So that's kind of where, if you're sitting here going, you designed it for them. Yes, but again, rental property. It was somebody's home at one point. Maybe, grandparents owned it, or mom and dad, this is the house somebody grew up in and now they're renting it because mom and dad have moved out or passed away or something. So that's how you have to think about this, because it is kind of fancy for 3 young adults. But I also kind of went with the vibe that was already there. It was a bigger house for them to begin with. So, you could say they all went together and bought it too. That's possible. So that's the backstory a little bit to that, as I'm just kind of decorating the, community spaces in this build. And I do really like this house because you could, with a little bit of updates and changes, turn this into a family home fairly simply. You would have to redo, the bedrooms a little bit, but it's a great floor plan for a family home. So if you're looking for, if you like this home but you don't want to use it for this, this family or these Sims, download it unfurnished and have fun furnishing it up. All right, so here I am looking at their young adults. I believe Summer is the one, she's going into the chef career, so she'll need some mixology, stuff like that. So I tried to put in this build things that would help them in their career. And really for Summer, because of what she's going for, her room is not as catered to her needs as the other two are. She gets a lot more in the rest of the house and outside the house. So, there's that. But I also kind of decorated this as a young adult starting out look. It's, they've got the futons, they've got, the little bar area that they brought in. They've got, just kind of basic stuff, nothing really expensive. And that's kind of what I went with. Now, that being said, when it comes to the bedrooms, you might get a little more expensive there because I believe I've got 2 computers in there. Yeah, so, one for each. Travis and Liberty both have computers, so they spent their money on that. But the rest of it is, again, kind of cheaper stuff. I mean, it is base game too, so a lot of the stuff tends to be cheaper. I did try to make it more of a modern-ish look, so it's not very traditional furnishings. It's somewhat modern. I also really just, wanted to create it so it looked like, young adults that don't have a whole lot live here. So, but that being said, outside it is pretty nice. But again, going from the mindset of this is maybe a rental property that was a home at one point. So keep that in mind as I'm going through this build, okay? The other thing I did with this is each bedroom does have its own bathroom. And I did that again because if you wanted to, say, use the for rent pack, you could separate these bathrooms into its own, rented room. So I thought that would be cool. So that's another way, if I play in this, I might do that where I move in, either move in one of mine or play in this household and have one of them own the lot. And the only reason they could is because they were going to rent out rooms. So that might be, that's how they got their loan for this house. A little too much reality, right? But that was kind of my thought. And so that's how I designed it. And we'll say that they went through and maybe redesigned it a little bit so it's that way if you're using it as a rental property. So I love creating backstories and multiple ones apparently for some of these. The next build will not have as complicated of, multiple backstories. It's one family, okay? So the other thing with this is I did create this little, powder room area too, just because if you do the rental route with this, nobody would have a bathroom to go to. So that was like visiting. So I wanted to, well, okay, they would, depending on who they were visiting. But so I wanted to create that just because. The other thing with this one is I did end up adding some artwork from the gallery to this. I have not tried to upload this to the gallery as of recording, and I'm going to kind of warn you now for some of my other builds because I've been putting in artwork from the gallery quite a bit. I'm noticing that for some of it is reading as having custom content when I go to upload. So you might notice that artwork gets removed. So if that's the case, I figured that out in my island apartment build. There was one artwork piece that I have uploaded before with a build that was reading as custom content. So once I deleted that, I was able to upload it without that, note on it. And it is now one of my top downloaded builds. I'm so happy because I spent a lot of time on that and it seems like people are liking it. So that makes me happy. But yeah, if you see in my builds, and I'll try to mention it when I put them into these, the artwork into these, that the artwork may not stay. I'll probably try to replace it. I just, there's a reason I'm looking at the gallery for artwork. In this one, for some reason, I kept thinking that Summer was an artist, not going into the chef thing. But yeah. So I was like, oh, she's going to have artwork up. And then I realized, shoot, I don't know who I was thinking. So yeah, there's artwork, and we're just going to say that they went to a discount store and bought it. Okay. That's where I'm going now. All right. So this room here is Summer's room. And I just kind of created it as a bright, fun room. I didn't show building the bathrooms because they're basic bathrooms. I didn't do anything fancy there. So this room is going to be Liberty's, and I'm going to talk about this room a little bit more because it is catered to her more. So she is in the astronaut career, and so I wanted her to have a little bit of femininity. And so, I gave her this fun bed with a floral on it. And, she has her computer so she can do her work. And I just kind of went in and was trying to find some like spacey type pictures. Now, in here is another one where you could see here, I go into and find some artwork. I'm hoping these will upload because these are just awesome. I love these so much. I will try to go through and frame all these. Okay, I won't try. I will go through and frame all of those before I upload this. And hopefully it will let me upload it without tagging it as custom content. The only thing I can think of is I might go through and take out my my CC folder before I try to upload this as well. So here is Travis's room, and he gets a bigger room in the house. Just because we're going to say this was the master bedroom at one point. And, when they put in the extra bathrooms for the rooms, they took out the master bathroom or the master closet or something. But here he is, I believe, in like gaming or some sort of, tech type career. I can't remember exactly. Guess I should have paid more attention at the beginning, right? But he has this kind of, fun setup. I went with a green theme. I also gave him a TV. I figured somebody needed one so that they weren't all fighting over one, Okay, reality, Sims don't usually watch that much TV, but I don't know. In my current gameplay, I'm finding they are watching TV more, so maybe they tweaked that a little bit. I don't know. So here I also put in a bunch of movie posters. I kind of tried to make them look like they were game posters instead. So that's kind of the thought with it. I had to put in the Plum Bob light, okay? Gamer Plum Bob had to happen. Okay. Again, this is base game only. So yeah. And I think these rooms turned out pretty good considering, again, base game only. The other thing with this is I really wanted to keep it not too cluttered, because if you download this and have other packs, I wanted you to be able to add some things to it. So it's not too cluttered. You can add things. I made it look good. It's not like it's, an EA base game build. Okay. But I did want to make sure that you could add some things if you had other packs fairly easily. So I really like that this is catered, like the bedrooms especially are very catered to the Sims that are in them, where the original one with this, it was, but it wasn't. I didn't like that Travis just had a single bed, that type of thing. So that's why, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna start with this set of Sims here. So I decided to also give him like a little tablet, a radio, all that fun, annoying stuff. And just kind of create, a little bit of activity stuff for them. So I did create this little back room here, and I put a few things in it. If you have laundry day, this would be a great area for the laundry room to be. And then outside, I wanted to put in a pool. There is a back deck there. And then just some other little outdoor areas. I have the garden there, so Summer can cook fresh vegetables. I did put in this hot tub. Again, base game only build, guys. Replace it if you have another pack. But I wanted the hot tub. This is young adults. I'm going to picture them as maybe, they like to party. They like to have fun. And that was why they chose this house, is it had a hot tub. Okay. So then back here, I also wanted to put in kind of like skill building. So I have the telescope and the chess table. And I just kind of landscaped through here to make it look like, again, this was, a home once that had a family in it. So it's designed with that in mind also, but changed out to reflect who's currently living there as well. So here I go through and do some landscaping and, creating these paths through. I do have to change those a little bit as I go because I didn't think about lifting this up, which I did. I had planned on lifting it up from the beginning. However, for some reason, doing those paths, I had to change a couple of things later on because I just didn't think about, I'm lifting this up and I can't put things where I thought I was going to. So here I decided to put a game table out front just for something to go out here. And I think it fits. It fits the vibe, again, kind of party people. And I also do some landscaping here. And again, it's, it was a family home. So all this stuff is done and it's pretty. It's not your starter home. However, it'll be fine. It will. Just go into build mode and put this in. That's all I did. Like this BFF household is still living on this lot while I'm building this. So if you go into build mode and replace it, it usually doesn't yell at you about funds. So that's nice. And I don't know, maybe that's something with base game or, with the Townies or something. You're able to just do that. I don't know. I usually put things on empty lots and move in families. So that's, how that works. So here, just again, more landscaping, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, what looks good, what doesn't, how I can figure it all out. And I did try to keep with what was already in the world when it came to plants and make it blend in because, this is going to be really this lot unless you want to use it somewhere else. But if you're looking for this household, it's this lot. So I thought just blending everything into the surrounding worked well. I also did use some debug plants just because I love them. I always use them. But in case you're wondering where I got some of those from, debug, live edit, all that fun stuff. I will eventually be doing some build tip videos here. I want to get through my move before I do anything too crazy like that because that involves a lot more planning than these builds do. I literally just sit down and build. That's what I do with these. So, there's some planning involved, but I can go, okay, like the Townie refresh. Which one do I want to do? I'm going to sit down and build. After I figure out what they like, don't like, things like that. So, all right. So right here, I realized I didn't have a garbage can. So added that. There is a mailbox. I did add that. And here, just kind of figuring out, I wanted a tree or two back here. So I decided I liked this. But when I put the bigger one in, I didn't like the small one anymore. So put in a smaller tree. Again, I wanted this to look like it was a home that had been there for a while. So it had grown trees. And all that fun stuff. And, it's a good family home, too. That's what I like, I think, the most about this in the end. It wasn't necessarily my intent, but being that I had decided it was a family home once, I'm not surprised that that's what happened, but it's a cute house. I do really like it. It's set up really well, especially being just a base game build. And it does amaze me what we can do with just the base game and a few more options than what the Sims team has when they build these. because they can't use like move objects or the alt key to move things around. They're very limited as to what they can do. So it always amazes me when I do these builds how awesome they can look with just a few tweaks here and there. So anyway, now I'm lifting this up and you'll see I kind of go back, change a few things. I also realized here that I might not have had the same colors in the various outdoor areas and things. So you might see me change that. I don't think I took that out. I think that's still in there. And then this with the pathway that I had to update. Like I said, just kind of finishing things up, figuring out what I want to do for the base of the home, how I want the decks to look. And then, yes, I do put some things on this deck back here. Again, we're going with the idea that these Sims don't have a lot of money, but together they kind of do. So they're able to afford a little bit more than, the average single young adult Sim. And so I think it turned out really well. The pool is fun. The backyard is, I think, perfect for a young adult grouping. And I think this will be a lot of fun to play in. I really do. Part of me is like, okay, I need to just play in this build. Which, I mean, yes, I'm going to play test it. But I don't know. I might end up doing this as, like I said, a rental and moving one of my legacy Sims into it or something for a little while. Not sure yet. So again, poolside, so I want a couple of lounge chairs and just kind of, finishing up everything, getting the garden area finished up. And just kind of, connecting the fences to the house. That's a tip. If you put fencing around, you don't want to connect them to the house if you're going to bring it up on a foundation. Build tip for you. Keep them disconnected until you've brought it up and then connect them so they stay down at one level. All right, so we are coming up to the end of the build, and you will see that I make a few changes here. Changes the tree. Apparently, I like this tree, and I changed the colors here. I looked at this house and just went, it looked bland. So I decided to go ahead and change it to the blue shutters and windows, making sure that all of the colors on the edges were correct. Or the roof edges were correct. And I like it. I definitely think doing that change made a difference. And here's the finished product. Again, it's such a cute build. I did not think it was going to be this cute when I did it. So I'm going to let you guys take a look at the interior photos and I'll be back. All right. I do want to mention, yes, I know the curtains are short. Okay. Base game only, guys. Base game only. All right. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this first of many, hopefully, Townie refreshes. I'm I'm looking forward to you guys checking out the next one. And I hope you guys will tune in. It'll be every Tuesday for these Townie refreshes. Friday builds are going to be the whatever I'm doing at the time builds. All right. So I will see you guys on Friday. Bye now.